AetherSX2 Flatpak brings PS2 emulation to Ubuntu on Nintendo Switch. This puts Ubuntu on the same level as Android, which is good at emulating Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and Nintendo DS. When it comes to PS2, there are only a few games that run almost perfectly. Many games have some kind of issue or are just slow in general. So the question is, do games actually run better on Ubuntu than on Android? Ubuntu has better performance on Dolphin when it comes to emulating GameCube and Wii. But how about PS2? On Android, the Ape Escape games all run slow except for Ape Escape 2. I tried Ape Escape 3 on both systems, and as you can see, they run the same. Ubuntu has less stutter though. The Dragon Ball Z Budokai series is one of the few fighting games that actually runs at full speed. Running Budokai Tenkaichi 3, the performances on Android and Ubuntu are neck and neck. Dragon Quest 8 has similar performance on both systems. RPGs usually run bad in open environments, but battle scenes are fine. Dragon Quest 5 runs like a dream on both systems. Oh yeah, I got to mention that on Android, controllers might suddenly stop working. On some games they don't work at all. If they do work but suddenly stop, this can be fixed by restarting AetherSX2. If a PS2 game isn't graphically demanding, it can run really well on Nintendo Switch. Dragon Quest V, Manhunt, Predator Concrete Jungle, and Siren either had low detailed graphics or medium-sized environments, so their performances are similar on Android and Ubuntu. On the other hand, fighting games with lots of details are having a hard time. Beast Wars 3, Onimusha 2, and Soul Calibur 2 and 3 all run slow. Comparing them side by side, you can see Ubuntu has a slight advantage in terms of speed. Soul Calibur 3 has the controllers mapped all wrong on Android. Another game with lots of details is Silent Hill 3, which runs slow on both systems. There are moments when it runs at full speed, but that's on Ubuntu only. Now the Shadow Hearts games and Yakuza 2 are examples of games where the open areas run slow with audio stutter, but the battle scenes run at full speed. On Shadow Hearts, Ubuntu has the upper hand for a totally different reason. The mapping for movement is broken on Android, while on Ubuntu there's no issue at all. Street Fighter Alpha Anthology is a game that needs the GPU renderer set to OpenGL. If it's set to Vulkan, there will be a black screen on Android and artifacts on Ubuntu. However, OpenGL doesn't make the game run fast at all. Since PS2 games are huge, you probably have them all stored on an external hard disk drive, just like me. In that case, you need to install Flatseal, which allows you to add the games to accessible folders. On my micro SD card, I have both Ubuntu and Android installed. So if I want to switch to Android, I just reboot the Switch while holding the volume down button. This boots Hecate, where I can select to boot Android. So who's the winner? Comparing Android and Ubuntu, there isn't any game that runs perfect on one system and terrible on the other. If a game runs bad on Android, it will also run bad on Ubuntu. However, Ubuntu has a faster speed with less stutter. So Ubuntu has the advantage in terms of speed, but also with the controller. There aren't any controller problems as it is on Android. However, Android has the touchscreen feature, which is a huge plus. On Ubuntu, you either move the cursor around with your finger or use the analog sticks. Other than that, there aren't many differences between the two systems, since it's the same PS2 emulator. Thank you so much for sticking until the end of this video. If you have any game that you want to see running on the Switch, please let me know in the comments below. See ya!